up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Riverview Wellness Podcast. My name is Sierra. I am your host, and this week we are going to be talking about the top things that I believe are killing us in America. Fun, right? No, this is super big reality. Is there is three big things that I believe are so problematic and are deteriorating our health. That is, first and foremost, the lack of movement that is going on in our lives. We're more sedentary than ever. Technology is booming, so we're sitting on our butts way more often. Second is what we're eating, the things that we're putting into our body. And third is the environmental toxins that we are like low grade being exposed to every single day of our lives that I strongly believe, and there are studies that back, are creating diseases and cancers and autoimmune conditions in us. So first and foremost, I want to talk about the movement issue. Like I kind of said, technology has become such a big part of our lives. Like you're almost falling behind and you're disconnected from people if you don't have an iPhone, you're not on social media. If you have a business, you have to have like a social media platform to have credibility and make a name for yourself. So it's hard to avoid that. But we have to recognize the repercussions of that. Okay, so we're sitting, the average person, at a desk for 8 hours a day. I don't remember this statistic off the top of my head, but some stupid number of how much stress it actually puts on our spine from the weight of our head being hunched over for so much time every single day. And then we compound that with high intensity interval exercise has become a super popular thing. CrossFit, super popular. So we are creating all these shortened muscles in our body. My chest muscles are shorter. My back muscles are more long, and I'm in this forward hunched position every day. It's hard for me to maintain good posture because these muscles are chronically shortened. And then people are going and pursuing these high intensity, fast paced, not well controlled activities, exercises, whatever you want to call it, and they can't move properly through these exercises because their muscles are literally too short in certain areas. And so we compound these things together, and it's creating more injuries in people. I feel like everyone nowadays, by the age of, 50, is starting to look at what orthopedic surgery they're going to have, or starting to have that conversation. Like, it is all too common. I see it all of the time. And if we could just, be more attentive to the way that we're sitting, get up throughout the day and walk around more often, not allow our joints to stiffen up like that, I think that would be amazing for people. I think that would change a lot of these long-term repercussions that we're having for individuals. And then I also a whole nother side of the lack of movement is, I'm going to get into the toxins a little bit more in a few minutes, but we have all these toxic things that we're consuming, we're smelling, we're feeling all throughout the day, whether that's from cleaning products or the detergent that we're using, whatever it may be. And in order to get those things out of our body, we need to have blood flow, our lymphatic system, drainage, all that. People go for massages and they talk of lymphatic drainage. I mean, the whole premise there is getting blood flow. And so people are lacking the ability to push out waste and create new nutrients, bring in new nutrients, because we're just not moving around a ton. And this, on a basic level, is you walking around more during your workday, but even on a higher level than that is I think the government recommendation, which isn't always the best thing for you to follow, but for sake of this, we'll just go off of, is 150 minutes of zone 2, or relatively, for anyone who doesn't know what zone 2 is, there are different heart rate zones. So zone 1 through 5. So think zone 2 is like your heart rate is up a little bit, but not a ton. You should get 150 minutes of zone 2 activity each week. And most people are not coming anywhere close to that. That's 30 minutes of kind of a run, walk each day. Bottom line, just the whole issue of movement. I think if people just got into a regular routine of walking, especially outside, if they started to lift weights a little bit, if they started to stretch their bodies a little bit more, if they stopped allowing themselves to sit at a desk for 8 to 10 hours straight and get sucked into TikTok and their job and this and that, I think that would create drastic positive improvement in a lot of people's lives. And it can start small. I mean, I wear a watch, I wear a fitness watch, I wear a Garmin. I started doing this actually recently. And everyone talks about like tracking their steps. And some people are like, just tracking your steps, like it's so stupid. But it helps me just to be aware of like, if I have been sitting on my butt for most of the day, like I kind of have a quick little reference point for that. And it even notifies me throughout the day. And it's like, you should move your body. You haven't moved in a while. So this is like $100, and it's a small tool to help remind me and not allow me to get consumed by the things that are going to keep me sitting stagnant. So the second thing that I believe is killing us is the things that we are putting into our body. I think there's kind of different categories that we can go with this, because a lot of people want to make objections of like, I can't afford to eat healthy, which first and foremost, it starts usually with taking stuff away. Stop reaching for all the snacks. You don't need to be snacking all the time. You don't need to have and eggs aren't really that expensive. Chicken really isn't that expensive. So if we're talking just on a very basic level, people have talked about shop the perimeter of the grocery store, like eat real food. If you go from eating processed junk every day, I don't even know if I want to say every day. Like a lot of people think that they are eating healthy. I'm eating clean. I've been doing better. And we really need to be like 80 to 90% of the time eating real whole food to see some positive change. To, I guess, tip the scale of your health in the positive direction. Because if you're doing more than 20% of the time eating fake stuff that is not actually food, that causes cancer and causes, like, there are things in foods, MSG, carrageenan, that and so on, that have actually been found in studies to cause various diseases. But it's still in the ranch that I use every day on my whatever. So first and foremost, like, pay attention to your labels. I don't even know where I was going with that point. Where was I going with that point? I don't know. Eat real food. I remember the percentages. So if 20% of the time you are eating stuff that is not actually food and it's linked to stuff that like causes all these problems, your health pendulum is going to shift into the negative direction. And the problem is that most people think that they're doing like 80-ish% of the time I'm eating clean, but it's really more like 60, 50, and they're just not all that aware. So real food is what it starts with. And so that's good. You can take somebody who's eating a lot of crap and put them on a whole food, just real food diet. I'm going to eat meat. I'm going to eat veggies. I'm going to eat fruit. You feel a lot better. But then there's better. And that is, I'm going to start to try and improve the quality of my food at another level. I'm going to go for the grass-fed meats. I'm going to go for the organic stuff. For anyone who doesn't know what organic means, if it is certified organic, it was not sprayed with pesticides. It's like the biggest thing that organic means. And there, again, like, have been so many research studies found linking this pesticide that we are spraying on our food to certain diseases. And yet, it's a big problem in America. I could go on for a while. So rinse your fruits and veggies if you cannot buy organic, but that's kind of the next best step up is buying the organic stuff. And then as far as your meats, grass-fed, you want to know where it comes from. Because if it's, take example, like, I don't know, salmon, and they're all kept in a little tiny pond and they're bred by the salmon farm. They're not wild caught is kind of the term you would be looking for as ideal. They are festering in this little pool. One gets sick, another gets sick, and now all of a sudden you've got these fish that this farm is probably trying to fatten up with whatever feed, because it's a lot of the time not very regulated, and so they're shoving this random stuff in these fish just to get them fat so they can be a big fish, and they're sick with diseases. They might have pesticides that they've been exposed to, and then we're packaging up that fish and putting all of those things inside of our body. So pay attention to where your foods are coming from. It's never going to be perfect. I mean, we're living in a country where so much money is made off of us staying unhealthy. There's a lot of work that goes into fooling us into thinking that we're eating something that is good for us. But I know so many people who don't even pay attention to those basic things. Yeah. And then I guess I would go the optimal route. So we had good, better, best is going to be that you get blood work done and you figure out exactly like where am I nutrient deficient and what things do I need to improve. You have that foundation of I'm going to start to eat real food. I'm going to start to eat real quality food that I know where it comes from, that it's not sprayed down with pesticides and all this crap. And then we start to look at getting our blood work done. I mean, I've been learning a lot lately about parasites, and just if you actually get your blood work done, you can figure out, do I have a parasite? Do I have a big deficiency in certain nutrients in my body where I just need to use this supplement or have this food? And the problem is a lot of people go to their doctor and the doctor says, your health is good. And then they say, okay, great. And they do very minimal blood work. You are the only one that is going to advocate for your health, take authority over health, and actually care about your health. So you have the money, you have the option to pay to actually get more in-depth blood work done. If you are having symptoms that everybody in our culture seems to normalize, like you don't have energy consistent throughout the day, you have sporadic bowel movements or diarrhea occasionally, if you have stuff going on with your skin, most of these things are not normal. If you're a female that has really abnormal, terrible periods, like that's not normal. You should get blood work done. That is probably one of the best investments that you will make in your life that will drastically improve the quality of your life for the rest of your life, is figuring out what is actually going on with your health. And it may not be an easy road. I definitely try and go like functional medicine. They're going to push you down more natural modalities. But yeah, bottom line, the stuff that you are putting into your body could very easily be deteriorating your health or improving your health. It's easy to shift from one side of the pendulum to the other very quickly. And lastly, I want to touch on toxins in our environment. This is a more recent one that I've started to create some changes in my life with. I've always been super gung-ho about like what you eat and moving your body and lifting weights. But this is a sneaky one that I think a lot of us don't think about. But I mentioned earlier, like your cleaning products, your laundry. A lot of our cleaning products, again, coming back to the pesticide conversation, contain high amounts of these different pesticides. A lot of our cleaning products that we're using say warning or danger on the label. Like if it were to come in contact with our skin or into our mouth, it would damage our bodies. And so we have these products sitting in our homes, wiping down things so that we're breathing it on the daily. We don't realize that the chronic low-grade exposure of these things is going to eventually start to create various cancers and diseases. I mean, there's a statistic that 1 in 3 women are going to have cancer at some point in their life, and 1 in 2 men are going to have cancer at some point in their life. Now, I'm not saying we can control everything, But how many cleaning products do you have in your home that have large amounts of these chemicals, toxins, pesticides in them that have literally been linked to causing cancer or diseases in people? And we're still using those products. And similarly, like even our laundry detergent, we clean our clothes with these products, and then we wear them on our body 24/7. We have a rag in the shower. Like, you literally can't get away from your laundry. You're breathing that 24/7. Same with the dish pods that are wrapped in plastic that we're putting into our dishwasher, and then it's heating up, and or use plastic containers, and you're eating that. I'm not going to belabor on too much on this point, but you can start small with just one little change in each area. As far as what moving my body goes, I'm going to start walking outside every day. As far as what I eat, I'm going to stop making a habit out of buying stuff that is not real food and letting it be in my home easily up for grabs. If you continue with that path, eventually it is going to catch up with you, and it is going to have serious repercussions on your health. You have to change tomorrow, you have to live for tomorrow. You have to think, what can I do today that is going to make me better tomorrow? And you have to make that choice every single day. It is your health. You get to decide. And then as far as toxic things in our environment, I would start with the cleaning products, because those are honestly the most deadly things that we have in our home every day that we are exposed to. A great brand that talks on this a little bit more is Branch Basics. They have a natural cleaning product that they have, and just a lot of great tips on their website about like how to start to get some of those toxic products out of your home. So, biggest takeaway, do something. Start to make some slow changes. Start to inform yourself more. Only you are going to be the one to create change in your health. So if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a 5-star review that helps others join in on the conversation and learn how they can take hold of their health. You can learn more about all that we have going on here at Riverview Wellness on Instagram at Riverview_wellness and Facebook at Riverview Wellness. You can connect with me on Instagram at SierraMeacham.livefit. We drop episodes every other week on Mondays. And yeah, again, thanks for watching. See you next time.